speaking of Luigi, the CEO shooter.
Yeah.
This is I was just talking about a moment ago about how they're perp walking him and such. This is his lawyer speaking on it. And at the moment, I'm streaming from a Steam Deck with a rather rigged up setup, but it's working so far.
Concerned about my client's right to a fair trial. In this case, he's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he's entitled to a presumption of innocence. But unfortunately, the way this has been handled so far, his rights are being violated. And as you know, Your Honor, there's a wealth of case law guaranteeing his right to a fair trial, but none of the safeguards have been put in place yet here. In fact, it's just the opposite of what's been happening. He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here. These federal and state prosecutors are coordinating with one another, but at the expense of him. They have conflicting theories in their indictments, and they're literally treating him like he is like some sort of political fodder, like some sort of spectacle. He was on display for everyone to see in the biggest staged perp walk I've ever seen in my career. It was absolutely unnecessary. He's been cooperative with law enforcement. He had been in custody for over a week. He waived extradition. He was cooperative at all accounts. There was no reason for the NYPD and everybody to have these big assault rifles that, frankly, I had no idea it was in their arsenal. And to have all of these, the press there, the media there, it was like perfectly choreographed. And what was the New York City mayor doing at this press conference, Your Honor? That just made it utterly political. And as Your Honor knows, under Lauro v. Charles, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held it to be clearly established that these staged perp walks to the media, unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement objective, is unconstitutional. And I submit there was zero law enforcement objective to do that sort of perp walk. There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever. And frankly, Your Honor, the mayor should know more than anyone of the presumption of innocence that he too is afforded when he dealing with his own issues. And frankly, I submit that he was just trying to detract from those issues by making a spectacle of Mr. Mangione. And there are consequences to this. He has a right to a fair trial.
What a name. What was it? Mangione?
Mangione.
Italian, I'm sure, but such a name.
Yeah.
And I just want to put on the record statements that the mayor made publicly about my client. Nothing saying alleged, for example. And he said, I wanted to send a strong message with the police commissioner that we're leading from the front. I'm not going to just allow him to come into our city. I wanted to look him in the eye and state, you carried out this terrorist act in my city, the city of New York that I love. And he wanted to show symbolism. Your Honor, he's not a symbol. He's somebody who is afforded the right to a fair trial. He's innocent until proven guilty. And the mayor was talking to jurors, future potential jurors that elected him. Those are the people that elected him that he is talking to and calling this man a terrorist. So, Your Honor, I just want to make a record of this and put everyone on notice that this has to stop. And my client is entitled to a fair trial and the presumption of innocence. And we're going to fight these charges, whether it's in the state or federal, to the fullest extent. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thoughts?
I have mixed feelings about this incident because on one hand, I think I read somewhere, and I don't quote me on this, but I think I read somewhere where he had some severe issues with his health, and he couldn't get nobody to cover his insurance and stuff like that. So I think that's why he did what he did. Now, I also think the government of the state officials and stuff like that is using him for a political pawn.
Yeah, there's murders that happen every day, and they don't treat just anyone the way they're treating him. I wonder if it'd been a poor black thug if they would have treated him the same as they're treating this Luigi Mangione. I do wonder.
I mean, I think if it had been anybody else, they wouldn't have made such a big deal out of this.
I
But
mean,
since,
he was an Ivy leaguer, you know, well educated, probably wealthy financially.
yeah, but I think he does have the right to a fair trial. Do I think he should be put in prison? Yeah, because he did what he did. But they're making a whole spectacle out of this. For what reason? It's not clear. But they should.
Well, he killed moneyed person. Not only that, but he's kind of setting precedents. Is like when somebody sees somebody do something like that, they're like, "Oh, that can be done. I can do it too. I'm gonna go find me a immoral CEO to knock off." That's what you know. Then they're going, "No, we have to make an example of him. We have to make sure the world sees." They showed, you know, there was like I don't know, a couple dozen pictures of his arrest and one where he had wet himself, which they probably didn't let him go to the bathroom. You know, they're trying their damnedest to make an example of him so no one else will get the idea I'm gonna knock off this immoral rich person.
Well, I mean, for all practical purposes, they're treating him like a POW in a way. Because I can remember when I was a kid, you would see sometimes on TV where they'd have the POWs speaking to the people of the United States, and this is kind of what this reminds me of. I'm sure you can remember stuff like that being on TV too. I mean, they would have
Yeah,
serial
yeah.
killers coming on TV and all this kind of stuff, parading them around. That's what this reminds me of because I remember that. I was little, but I still remember it.
Yeah, they don't really put things on like they used to. I mean, for that matter, there's barely regular network TV anymore, but you know, they would talk about the serial killers on the loose. They would show the war prisoners and the message that comes back to America, and then, you know, they would show it all of it, and they don't do that kind of thing so much anymore.
Well, I think it's one reason I think is because nobody would care for one. But another reason they don't want copycats and stuff like that.
Yeah, they'd have to make 20-second long clips, or nobody's gonna stick around to watch it,
Yeah.
and they would have to have some fast talking, high pitched voice, and probably some flashing lights. You know, God damn, I hate how people become like goldfish.
Yeah, well, I think goldfish have better attention spans sometimes. But yeah, they're just using him for political means now. He should just have a regular trial just like everybody else and get sentenced and do his time or whatever they're going to do and quit with this bullshit. You know what I mean?
Now,
Because
this show, I don't normally do a show on Monday, nor at this time. This is a test run. I can't say how long it's gonna go on, but I'm gonna take it a little bit further, at least an hour.
you look good in
But
that hat.
I don't know. I've gotten mixed opinions on this hat. For that matter, I don't know how I feel about it, but whatever. Um,
I don't know. I think it looks nice.
if you go back to earlier times before what we considered as civilization, you know, to other civilizations, for that matter, some third world countries, when their leaders do them dirty, they take them out. That's always been the case. And we've gotten to such a society that that doesn't happen here anymore.
Yeah, that is
Oh,
true.
sure, nobody should be knocking anybody off. Sure, I'm not arguing that whatsoever. But I will say these rich, immoral assholes do need the fear of God in them.
Yeah,
They
they
need
need.
to know they can't just get away with doing people dirty and then walking away with their pockets stuffed.
Yeah, they need to know they have to suffer some consequences for their actions just like everybody else. You know, that's like
I
President
got a positive opinion.
Yay! That's like President Biden pardoning his son for all that bullshit he did. You know?
Well,
It,
politicians, right? Or
yeah.
anybody in the position of a politician, there is no way that they don't have at least some, if not a whole fuckload of corruption going on.
Oh yeah.
I don't care who it is. They're gonna have a lot of corruption going on, and that might make people upset. It's like, don't talk about my hero that way. Uh, I just think that's the way it is. I mean, we can have different opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we don't have
True.
to fight about it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, all these people in these positions are corrupt.
Well, sometimes I think some of them get into politics and stuff with the idea in mind that they really want to help people. But
Uh,
they get in that scenario
actually,
and
actually, Obama, he wrote a book saying that very thing. I don't know if he had like a shadow writer or what the deal was. I don't know, but supposedly he said he had entirely good intentions, but then he got around the big money interest, and that definitely influenced him. And he, in a book, fully admitted as much.
yeah, I mean, you go into politics thinking you're going to do something for the people because that's what you want to do, and that's an admirable thing. But then you get in it and you see all the shit you got to put up with, and it makes them corrupt over time. And then after a while, they just don't care anymore, it seems.